Please be seated. The court is back in session, and the chamber will hear 2 TCW 804. Court officer, please invite the witness into the courtroom. President, good afternoon. Mr. Witness, what is your name? Witness, my name's Otsain. Question. Thank you, Mr. Otsain. When were you born? Please observe the microphone. Answer. I was born on the 7th January 1956. President, thank you, Mr. Otsain. Where were you born? I was born in Kong Sai village, Kampong Thmo district, sub-district, Santok district, Kampong Thom province. Question. And what about your current address? Where do you live? And what is your occupation? Currently, I am living in Kong Sai village, Kampong Thmo sub-district, Santok district, Kampong Thom province. I am an official of the Kampong Thom Provincial Water Resources and Meteorology Office. President, thank you. What are your parents' names? My father's name is Ot Kieu, and my mother's name is Leung Yen. President, thank you. And what about your wife? What is her name and how many children do you have together? My wife's name is Kam Salat. We have 3 children, 2 sons and 1 daughter. Thank you, Mr. Otsain. In accordance with the oral report of the greffier, to your best knowledge, none of your father, mother, ascendant children or descendant brother and sister in law or wife, you have no relationship with any one of the accused in this case. Is that true? Answer. I have no relationship with said the witness. President, thank you. And I was told that you have taken an oath already before this chamber. Is that true? Answer. Yes, that is true. Now, the chamber would like to inform you of your rights and obligation as a witness. Mr. Otsain, as a witness in the proceedings, before the chamber, you may refuse to respond to any question or to make any comment which may incriminate you. That is your rights against self-incrimination. Your obligation as a witness in the proceeding before the chamber, you must respond to any question by the bench or relevant parties, except where your response or comments to those questions may incriminate you, as the chamber has just informed you of your rights as a witness. And as a witness, you must tell the truth that you have known, heard, seen, remembered, experienced, or observed directly about an event or occurrence relevant to the question that the bench or parties pose to you. Mr. Otsains, have you ever provided any statement to the investigator of the OCIJ? If you have, how many times have you provided that statement? Answer: I was interviewed once, perhaps in 2005 or 2006, at Stunginat Dam. President, thank you. Before you are here, have you read the previous statement that you gave to the investigator of the OCIJ? Answer: yes, I have already read it. President, to your best knowledge and to your recollection, does this statement reflect what you have stated? Answer: yes, it reflects what I gave to the investigator. President, thank you. In accordance with 91 bis of the internal rules, the chamber now gives the floor to the co-prosecutor to put question to this witness before other parties. And I would like to inform that the combined time for the co-prosecutor and co-lead lawyers is 2 sessions for this witness. You may now proceed. Co-prosecutor. Thank you, Mr. President. Good afternoon, everyone in and around the courtroom. Good afternoon, Mr. Witness. I am Sri Ratana, the National Deputy Co-Prosecutor. I have a few questions to put to you in relation to the work that you conducted between 1975 and 1979. Where did you live before 1975? Answer: before 1975, I lived in Phnom Penh with my elder sister. Question: what did you do then? Answer: I studied in Tultumpung College. I was a student. And later, between the 17th of April 1975 and 7 January of 1979, where did you live? I was evacuated from Phnom Penh and I went to live in my birth village in Kong Sai village, Kampong Thom district, Kampong Thom province. I had to travel 1 month to reach my destination. Question. You were transferred from Phnom Penh to live in Santok district, Kampong Thom province. Did you know the 1st January dams? Answer. I know it clearly because the dam was located near my village. Question. Besides the fact that the 1st January dam was close to your village, how did you know that how did you know it well? Answer. In 1980, I became a public servant at the Water Resources and Meteorology Office, and I have been in this position until now. Co-prosecutor, I would like to ask you about the period between 1975 and 1979. You told the court that you were living close to the dam, and besides that, why did you know this dam well? Answer. In late 1976, I was put in the youth unit in Kampong Thom sub-district to dig the canal and to build the dam at Steng Jinet. But first, I was asked to work on the canal as the dam itself was not yet built until 1978. So I was asked to work in the dam size of the Songkat or village. Question. I heard you mention Steng Jinet Dam. Was there any other name for this Steng Jinet Dam? Answer. In 1975, this dam was known as the 1st January Dam. Co-prosecutor, thank you. How long were you assigned to build the dam? Answer. I do not recall it, but I remember that I was put in the youth group or unit. In fact, this dam belongs to the zone, and there were many sectors in the zone, so there were 42, 43 sectors. There was sector 42 and 43 working at that dam site. Co-prosecutor, from what I heard, there were many workers from sectors 42 and 43. Is that correct to say the dam was built by many workers from sectors 42 and 43? Answer. Yes, you could say so. Question. To your observation, how many workers were there building the dam? Answer. there were many of them. And I knew only the fact that there were many people working at the dam site close to my workstation. Co-prosecutor, when did the construction start? Do you recall it? Answer, the construction started in 1978, in early 1978. Question. During the period that you were assigned to work at the dam site, how many members were there in your unit? Answer. There were 33 members in my unit, and there were 3 groups in my unit, and one group consisted of 12 members. Again, I'm sorry, 10 to 12. One group consisted of 10 to 12 members, said the witness. Co-prosecutor, how was the group divided? Based on what situation that the groups was divided? Answer. The total numbers of workers in the units was more than 1,000, and then these workers were divided into units. Co-prosecutor, in document E3/5267 ERN in Khmer 00271407 English 00282355 French 00482932. You stated that when one was considered a lazy one, this individual was put in the lazy group. And if one did not try to work hard, he or she would be killed. Please translation. What do you mean by saying this? Answer. I understand that this is a warning for us, and these people were put in a special unit because they did not perform hard enough, and there were only 20 members in that unit. We were afraid of being put in that special unit. If we were to be put in that special unit, we would be asked to perform harder work. Question. You stated that 20 people were selected from the 500 worker and put in that special unit. How did you know that? Answer. The food ration given to the 17 April people and the base people was different. The gruel for 17 April people was watery, and for the base people they could have a better gruel. Co-prosecutor, I would like to reformulate my question. How did you know that there was a special unit at that place? Answer. The mobile unit in the communes were working close to each other, and in the evening we had to join the criticism meeting, and we were instructed and told that there were special units. The purpose of having a special unit was to deter other people from being lazy. Co-prosecutor, I would like to know about your working conditions. What were you assigned to do at that time? I was told to carry dirt. Only the unit chiefs was standing and looking at us, and for other workers, they had to join in the work assignment, that is carrying earth. Co-prosecutor, how was the work divided in relation to carrying earth? Answer. For instance, if one unit chief receive a quota of 100 meters of land to work on, and then the unit chief would assign that plot of land, that is 100 meters of land for workers to do. Co-prosecutor, what do you mean by referring to the meters, 100 meters of land? President, please observe microphone, Mr. Witness. Witness. The land was measured based on the land condition. If the land condition was quite good, and the person or the group or unit would receive a large amount of work to do. Co-prosecutor, I understand that at that time the land was measured in the cubic meter. So what do you mean by the sayings about the measurement of the land? Witness. So if we receive our work assignment of 10 meters for the group, we had to complete it at the end of the day and to make it into a shape of canal. Co-prosecutor, you stated that people had to work in group, and one group may have received 30 meters of land to work on. And was there any subgroups divided at that time? President, please wait. Mr. Witness, you may now proceed. Lawyer Kong Som-on. Lawyer Kong Som-on. I would like to pose the objection to the question. Mr. Witness did not state that one group received the quota of 30 meters of land to work on. The witness said that the one group may receive 30 meters of land to work on, and on some other groups they may have received 10 or 20 meters of land to work on. It depended on the land condition. So the statement made by the co-prosecutor is not correct. Co-prosecutor, I heard that the work, the amount of land would be given to respective groups, and I would like to ask a witness about this matter. Did you personally receive the quota of work? So What was your quota of work you had to do at that time? Witness. There were 2 or 3 members in one group. We could decide to select our group members. If we could finish 1 or 2 meters of swai for the day, and if we were satisfied with any members of the group, we could choose and select members of our own group. However, we had to complete our work quota or work assignment in one day. Co-prosecutor, you may continue your answer, please. I forget what I was about to say. Co-prosecutor, you was about to mention about the group, and you have stated that there were 10, perhaps 10 members in your group. And you also stated that there were 2 or 3 members in one group, and you could choose and select group members. So could you elaborate more on this? Witness. The work was divided among all of us. For example, if our group had 10 members, or if our group had 2 or 3 members, we had to complete our work assignment. If one worker received 1 meter of land to work on, and if another worker received the same amount of land to work on, we can join together and work on the combined amount of land together. Co-prosecutor, do I understand correctly that one person, for example, may have received 1 meter of land to work on, and another worker may have received the same amount, and you two could work together? Is that correct? Co-prosecutor, Mr. President, I would like to put my last question again. Mr. Witness, my last question is that you stated that 2 people may have received 2 meters of land to work on, and you could choose to work together. Does this respond to your statement you just made earlier? Answer. For instance, the 2 meter of land had to be completed by 2 of us, and we had to make it into a canal.
Question actually sets the quota and the depth of the canal. Who actually set it, and what was the maximum depth of the canal, and how wide was the canal? Answer. Here I refer to the smaller form of a canal. The upper width was 5 meter wide, and the lower and the bottom part was 4 meter wide, and the depth was 2 meter deep, and it was actually measured for us already. Question. What I'm to ask you is in relation to your work quota at the first January Dam work site. However, you just talk about the smaller form of canal. Are you referring to the same work site or to another work site? Because from your previous statement, you said you worked at various work sites. However, my line of questioning is only related to the first January Dam work site. Answer. No. I refer to the smaller feeding canal branch of the first January Dam work site. As for the first January Dam work site itself, our unit worked in a bigger scale. The upper width was about 20 meters wide, and the depth was between 2 to 3 meters deep. Question. Please do not confuse between the measurement of a canal and the measurement of the dam itself. I refer to the work that you did at the first January Dam work site. Please clarify it to the court. Did the assignment of a 2-meter land strip for 2 workers was at the first January Dam work site? Answer. I refer to a smaller feeder canal assigned by the commune for the commune mobile unit and not the first January Dam work site. Question. And while you work at the first January Dam work site, what was the work quota? Answer. At the first January Dam work site, we worked in group and in unit. For example, for a piece of 30-meter land plot, the group had to complete the work quota jointly. And the previous measurement was referred to for the commune mobile unit. Question. Please pay attention to my question as I am only interested in your work at the first January Dam work site. So allow me to say, your group would receive an assignment to work on a 30-meter land plot. And for this 30-meter land plot assignment, was it for how many workers? And was it at the first January Dam work site? Answer. My unit of 30 workers works jointly at the first January Dam work site. Question. And the work assignment for your unit? For instance, how much land did you have to work on per day? Answer. At that site, we had to dig between 1 to 1.5 cubic meter each. Question. Was any heavy machinery used to aid in your work? Answer. There was no heavy machinery at the site. Question. And while working there, were you allowed to rest while during the in between working hours? Answer. If we were not sick, we could not take any rest at all. Question. And while you were working there, and for example, in case that you were thirsty and you needed to drink or you needed to relieve yourself, what did you do? Answer. We requested permission from our unit chief before we could do that. However, we were warned not to stay long in the forest nearby where we relieved ourselves. Question. And were you being watched over while working there? Answer. I only noticed the unit chief, and I could not say if there were others because there were many workers at the work site. Question. What about the relationship between members of your unit? Were you allowed to chit-chat? Answer. We could talk while we were working, but we were not allowed to sit and to chit-chat with other workers. Question. From your experience working there, did you have any work-related injury, or did you observe any work-related injury caused to other workers? Answer. Yes, I did observe that. Question. Can you elaborate a bit further? Answer. Due to fatigue, some workers fell on the ground as their knees became weak. Question. Were there many similar cases? Answer. No, there were not many cases, but occasionally workers fell onto the ground. Question. In document E3/5-67, EN in Khmer is at 00271408, in English 00282355, and in French 00482933. You made the following statements: that you started working at 5 o'clock in the morning and loudspeaker was played and you were woken up by a whistle blow, and then you reached the work station and started working until 12, and you resume from 1 to 5 p.m. However, if there was a special need, we had to work from 6:30 p.m. to 9 p.m. and electricity was provided at the work site. and we only worked at night for a special assignment. Some workers disappeared during the night. And my question to you is the following. What was the special condition for night work? Answer. We were asked to work at night for the special reasons, that is because at night time it was quite dark and it was easier for them to call someone to the dark part of the work site and to tie them up and took them away. I knew what happened because at the nearby unit something happened in that unit, and next day members of the unit disappeared. Question: did this kind of special night work happen often? Answer: I only knew once. Question: during the period that you worked there at the first January Dam work site, can you recall whether it was during a rainy season or a dry season? Answer: it was during a dry season. President Council Copper, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. President. No objection, but an observation in relation to a previous question. Deputy Co-Prosecutor quoted a passage from the statement of the witness, and it seems that both in French and in Khmer, working time in the afternoon is being noted down as between 1 o'clock and 5. However, in the English version we have between 1 and 6. I think I just take the opportunity to make that observation so that it can be corrected at one point in time, that it is indeed, and I'm looking at the prosecution, indeed at the Khmer version 1 till 5 rather than 1 till 6.
National Deputy Co-Prosecutor, while you work at the work site, please tell us whether it was during a rainy season or a dry season. Answer: it was during a dry season. Question: could you take shelter under a shade, or were there any accommodation where you could take a shelter when it was hot? Answer: no, there was no shade for us to take refuge under. Question: what happened when the weather was very hot? Could you ask permission to rest during the hottest period of the day and continued when the sun was not that hot anymore? Answer: there was a quick short rest sessions. Besides besides short breaks, were there any rest time? President, witness, please observe the microphone. Witness: besides short breaks, there were no other resting time. That is, until the working hours concluded, then we could rest at our sleeping quarter. Mr. President, I'd like to conclude my line of questioning now and to hand the floor to my international colleague. President, thank you. And yes, International Deputy Co-Prosecutor, you may proceed.
Thank you, Mr. President, and good afternoon, Mr. Utsang. I want to ask you a few more questions about the special team for lazy people that you've already told us a little bit about. And I'm going to read a quote from your witness interview. This is at page, in Khmer, 0027, 1407, in English, 0028, 2355, and in French, 0048, 2932 to 33. And this is what you said, quote, "When they considered us as being lazy, they would put us in another team for lazy people. If we did not strive to work there, they would kill us." Unquote. Now, you were asked earlier how you knew about this team, and you said that mobile units work closely together. Do we understand from that that you were actually able to see this special unit for lazy people at work?
The special unit comprised of people who were considered lazy or who evaded the work or who ran back to the village without authorization or who violate work-related disciplines.
Let me read you something next answer. You were asked how the special, and this is just the next question on in the statement. You were asked how the special unit was different from the ordinary one. And you said, quote, "They monitored anyone considered lazy would be beaten and mistreated. I saw them beat people." And then a bit later you say, "They only beat and mistreated those in the special team," unquote. So you've just told us that you saw people in the special unit being beaten. Can you describe these beatings? Can you tell us, for example, where they occurred, who carried them out, and what was used to beat these people?
Workers who were placed into the special unit were those youths who were best people who had some freedom and who did not strictly adhere to the work-related disciplines. And they would be instructed to work longer hours than the workers in the ordinary units. I said that they were beaten up. In fact, they were only beaten up with a whip and not physically beaten up with their hands or with their legs. However, they were threatened to work hard.
And can you describe these beatings with a whip for us? Who was it who administered the beatings, if you know?
It was the chief of that special unit. And in fact, there were two distinct unit chiefs for that special unit. One was male to supervise the male workers in the unit, and Another one was the female unit chief who supervised the female workers in that special unit, respectively.
And where did these beatings with whips take place?
Actually, the lower part of the body that is below the knee were whipped by the chief.
And can you tell us, did this occur in a public place? Were other workers able to observe these beatings taking place?
They were instructed to line up and they were whipped so that the rest of the workers could see and not to follow their example.
And how often did you witness these kinds of beatings with a whip?
It did not happen that often. Sometimes I did not work closer to that special unit.
And how did the people who were being beaten react when they were hit with the whip?
They remained standstill and quiet.
Do you know whether they suffered any injuries as a result of these beatings?
It was not a major injury.
You mentioned a bit earlier that you were able to talk with some of your coworkers during the day while you were working. Did you ever discuss these beatings with your fellow workers?
No, did not. Such matters could not be discussed with other workers. We kept it to ourselves, as we were afraid that we would be in trouble if others overheard us discussing such matter.
Mr. President, I notice that it's the time for the adjournment for the day, if this is a convenient moment.
President, thank you. And before we adjourn for today, the Chamber would like to inform the parties that we received information from the witness and expert support section yesterday that the witness through TCW 830 cannot testify this week due to personal matters. After the conclusion of the testimony of a witness through TCW 887, the Chamber will move to hearing testimonies of witnesses and civil parties in relation to the Kampong Chnang Airport work site starting from Monday the 8th of June 2015, and after the conclusion of the testimonies on the Kampong Chnang Airport work site, the Chamber will hear the testimony of True TCW 830 witness on the first January Dam work site before the end of June. Today's hearing has come to a conclusion, and we will adjourn now and resume tomorrow, that is 3rd of June 2015, starting from 9 o'clock in the morning. Tomorrow, the Chamber continue to hear the testimony of this witness would say, and possibly we'll hear the testimony of another witness, that is through TCW 887. And Mr. Ott saying the chamber, thank you for your time and presence. However, your testimony is not yet concluded. Therefore, you're invited to return tomorrow and it will commence at 9 o'clock in the morning. Court officer, please make necessary arrangement for transporting the witness to his place of stay, and do that with the collaboration of Wisu, and invite him to return to the courtroom before 9 o'clock. Security personnel, you're instructed to take the two accused back to the detention facility and have them returned to attend the proceedings tomorrow before 9 o'clock. The court is now adjourned.